December 8th, 2014. We begin by rising to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Reichert. Mr. Hupkey.
Here.
Mr. Wicker.
Here.
Mr. Hack.
Here.
Mr. Callahan.
Here.
And Mr. Forsythe.
Here.
Okay, let the record show that we have a quorum present and may officially conduct business. First order of business being the approval or correction of the minutes from November 24, 2014. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented, or if you see a reason to correct them, let us know what that correction should be.
Motion.
Second. Motion by trustee Forsythe, second by trustee Hupkey to approve the minutes as presented. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries, minutes approved, and before we move on, thank you, Chris, for running the meeting last month while I was out of town. Appreciate that. Looks like everybody got to make a motion in that meeting. It's good, shows good participation. Next, moving on to accounts payable and payroll. We have in your packet, trustees, the payroll for the pay period ending 11/22 of 14 in the amount of $45,846.91. We also have the police holiday payroll for December 5th of 2014. As you recall, it's been a past practice to hold all the holiday pay and then pay it out at this time of the year by the request of the police officers, thereby ensuring that they have plenty of funds for the holiday season. So that's in the amount of $15,646.08. Under accounts payable from the general fund, there are bills totaling $448,067.20, and water and sewer fund, bills totaling $129,873.15. Now, I call your attention, trustees, to item G and item I on the agenda below. We will be voting on the authorization impacting check number 30479 in the amount of $12,250 for the possible action on trading surplus cars. And we'll also be acting on item, the final payout for the National Power and Rotting in the amount of $1,712.60. That's check 30469. So I'm calling for a motion to approve the bills as listed, contingent upon those two items being approved later in the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Wicker, seconded by trustee.
Second.
Why am I drawing the line?
Okay.
Pat, thank you.
He's over there.
No, it's just one part of the brain is connected. Thank you, that helps, Kevin. Every so often, the brain just has that little thing.
Everybody thinks those nameplates are for the audience.
They are when they turn them to face me.
This is one reading.
All right. Please call the roll.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
And Mr. Hupkey.
Yes. Okay. Motion carries and the bills paid as noted. Oh, yeah, if you are relative to the high dollar amount that we're paying out, higher than normal, we've got our debt certificate last payment to First Community Bank for $112,475, and the is this the last payment for the
No, there's one more. There's the bond
Okay.
payment for the water, for the
sewer
sewer.
plant? Way back when they built the sewer plant, we're almost got it paid off to New York Mellon in the amount of $353,675. So those are two of the bigger amounts in there. Now, we move on to public comments and or questions. This is a time on the agenda, if you have comments that you would like to make, or questions of the Board of Trustees, and it's not on the agenda later, this is the time to come forward and to ask your questions or make your comment. So, when you do that, please tell us your name, and we may ask you to spell it to get it correct into the record.
Okay, good evening. My name is Mary Ann Batterman. I'd like to start out by telling you a little bit about myself. I operate the Peotone Senior Assistance Center at St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church. And the Senior Assistance Center basically helps local seniors and disabled people with social programs. For example, most recently, I've been doing Medicare Part D for the local seniors. I advertise in the local paper and the church bulletins and so on and so forth. Another part of my responsibilities is I've just recently become the Catholic Charities Parish Ambassador, and the purpose of that program is for me to be a liaison between the community and the programs that are available through Catholic Charities. Recently, excuse me, these last 2 weeks, a family in need came to Deacon Jim Kelly, and he had them come into St. Paul's, and we sat them down and we were able to connect them with emergency services through Catholic Charities. This family has 5 children, and they already had their gas turned off, and they were on the verge of having their water turned off. And I wanted to take this opportunity on behalf of myself and Jim Kelly to thank you, Donna, for showing your compassion to this family in a time of need. My purpose in coming here tonight is I wanted to make a suggestion that involves seniors, and I brought a bunch of seniors with me here. And the suggestion I have is regarding our garbage bill. There was an article on the internet, which my husband Herb saw, and let me read a little bit to you. This is from the village of New Lenox. Many of our seniors brought to their attention how little garbage they are placing at the curb for collection. So in response, the village board took the following action. They have negotiated a senior rate for garbage and recycling with the garbage company. I believe New Lenox has New Way, and here we have Homewood. And the requirements for the program are residents have to be at least 65, and they have to utilize the smaller cart, the 35-gallon cart. And once they've met these requirements, the senior rate became $6.58 a month, billed quarterly for a total of $19.74. Now that's roughly $20 for a quarter. I look at my bill, and most recently it's gone to just about $45 for the quarter. So if we were able to get a senior rate here, we would be able to save the seniors in the community about $100 a year. And I can tell you from my work with senior assistants that we have some very, very needy seniors in this community. And I think $100 would be wonderful for them. And it's not going to cost Peotone anything because it would be the garbage company that would be negotiating the rate. So that's my suggestion. I made copies of the paperwork to give to you. And if you would consider doing that, I'm sure the seniors of this community would be very happy. And as long as I have the floor, there is another suggestion I would like to pass on. One of the residents has an elderly father who lives in Iroquois County, Watseka specifically, and she contacted me wanting to find resources for her father. So when I contacted Iroquois County, they faxed me a whole bunch of stuff, and one of the things is something called Show Bus. And I was just fascinated reading this. Maybe you've seen the buses around town. It says Show Bus right on the side. It's operated with funding from the Illinois Department of Transportation of the Federal Transit Act, the Downstate Operating Assistance Program, East Central Illinois Area on Aging, United Way, community funds, units of local government, churches, civic groups, etc., etc. What's nice about the show bus in Watseka, they have like 9 separate stops. And they're identified, and people who want to ride show bus go to that particular stop, they get on the bus, the suggested fare is $2. And then this bus takes them to the mall, to Walmart, to the library, to the dollar store, all designated places. And what's nice is if you're a senior and you're having physical problems, you can call a day in advance and say, I can't get to the stop, pick me up at my house, and they will. They'll pick you up at your door. And also, if you're 60 or older, the fare is a suggested contribution, and if you don't feel that you can pay, you can ride for nothing. And I thought, wouldn't that be wonderful if we had something like that in Peotone? So I brought along the brochure about show bus, hoping that maybe you can check it out. But the thing with the garbage is my main concern. Anything else, seniors?
Well, that $100 a year savings would mean a lot to the senior citizens because it is very hard to make the ends meet.
And as far as this 35-gallon can, when the garbage company put out the new cans recently this past year, they delivered them to everybody's houses. My husband and I are empty nesters. There's nobody else in the house. That can was so humongous, my husband called and said, you know, could we have the can that's about the size of the recycling one? And they said, oh, sure, we'll bring it out and we'll pick up the other one. We have like 1 bag a week, and there's 2 of us. So I can imagine that most seniors have very little garbage, and if we could get a senior rate, that would be wonderful. Okay, that's all I have to say.
We will
Should I
look
bring this
into
to
both
you?
of those items, so thank you very much for bringing it to our attention.
Oh, you're very welcome. Here's the paperwork.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public on any non-agenda item?
Wasn't there a reason why they suggested that we went with the bigger can? Didn't they kind of push us in that direction?
Here's the deal. All you have to do is call them, and they will give you a different size can.
Oh, okay.
It was easier for them to deliver one size to everybody and then go back and pick up that one from the folks who didn't
Okay.
want it. Because we negotiated our agreement along with Moni and Beecher, Moni has a large senior citizen population. And I don't remember the name of the park up there, Gulf Vista?
Yeah.
Okay. And Moni arranged right off the bat, because of that exact situation that you're talking about. These folks are not going to have a whole lot. Why don't you just deliver the smaller containers to them right off the bat? And so that got taken care of that way. But it's a matter of just calling Homewood Disposal, and they will bring out whatever size you want. Or if you want another one, because you have a lot of trash, they will bring it out. I wound up getting a bigger recycle, and there's no cost involved with it. It's just a matter of call them up, they'll drop off, they'll tell you to put it out at the curb, and they'll pick up the old one and bring you a new one. And that way it can handle whatever your volume is. And again, I understand your point, because the other day I really filled the regular container with a lot of stuff. And it's kind of like, this was not fun to wheel to the curb. So,
We have some room. I have a lot of room in mine.
but yeah, you can take care of that right away just by giving Homewood Disposal a call and tell it, and they'll tell you, put it out on a certain day and we'll pick it up or something like that.
Regarding to the amount, I haven't put garbage out for about a month, and I'm only gonna have like about a half container full of garbage. I still have the big, large can yet.
Mhm.
And them cans are very heavy.
I understand, that it's a phone call to them, and it cuts the bureaucracy of you just call them and they take care of you directly. You don't have to go through anybody. So we'll kind of get that word out to folks again. And we'll look into the other two items to see what we can do on it.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you for bringing it to our attention. Moving on the agenda. I know the chief is going to talk later when we have some of the issues concerning the squads. So I'm going to skip the chief. Engineers report, Troy. Anything up to date?
Just that the Wilmington Road Lift Station emergency generator project is either beginning very shortly or already has.
I think the pad's in already, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they've actually poured it or not. I haven't checked in the last 2 days.
I know they were laying it out, so they may have.
Okay.
I thought I saw a tarp. I wasn't sure if that was on top of the concrete or just covering
okay.
the
The
spot.
tarp has been there for a while, but I
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
They were
Keeping it,
trying to get it done
dry.
right away.
Dry, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make all of our lift stations now will have generators?
No, we still have 2 that do not, but this is the last of the primary lift
The
stations.
major ones,
The
yeah.
major ones, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The others can be down for a while because of the flow that comes into them, but this, Wilmington is the last one that was critical.
Okay, which will help us out in storms and other situations. All right, any questions of the engineer? Hearing none, I'm going to move on to, we have no old business, so to new business. Peotone American Legion Post 392, request to close North Street on 11/20 for the Need Children's Christmas program. Jim, you want to talk about that?
Oh, sure. That's gonna happen on the 20th. I'm guessing maybe about 8 o'clock in the morning or so, maybe a little bit earlier. I mean, maybe getting a little bit of flex time. We should be easily done by 2 o'clock. I don't see it going on any longer than that, so.
And for
Eric's been involved with
for
it
the
too.
sake of folks who may not be familiar with what you do,
Well, this-
give us a brief
Sure,
summary.
it's been going on for like 40-plus years. It started like, I'm guessing like in the 60s. We collect goods from the community and the local businesses, as well as donations and everything else. And that goes towards kids that are identified through the school district that need, additional clothing or, so we have the clothing trip where they take that to Kmart, take a bus for that, and that sort of thing. Also, so they're provided clothing, they're provided food. We can't give them any shelter, but we do give them the food and the clothing. Just so they have a nice Christmas and warm clothing for the winter months. So,
And this is a total community event in the sense that a lot of the food raised comes from the kids at the junior high school as a food
right,
can.
right.
Yes.
And I say that because going back to my days of being a teacher.
And we also have the fire department involved with it, the police department as well. They collect the items for us too. So it's a whole community effort. It's been going on for quite a while.
I believe we have 113 kids this year
That's what I've been hearing, yes.
and 60-something families.
Right, right.
Kids will get to go shopping for their clothing in excess of $100 a piece.
I believe it's $100, they get a 10% discount.
Well, 20, we got the other guy kicking.
Oh, that's right, right, right.
So,
Give the commercial
the kid, usually they buy for themselves for the holidays clothing.
Right, right.
We have the Toys for Tots come in for the younger kids that same afternoon. We have Santa Claus and
Mm-hmm.
we have, when we take them out there, we have a party after that for them.
Right,
We serve them lunch, Pepsi and hot dogs and things, so
right.
it's quite
It's
a
big-
nice
It's
organization.
a big day for them, if you don't, when things are tight, I mean, it helps though.
Trying to make sure everybody has some kind of a Christmas
Right, exactly. That's
in
what
our
it's all about.
community. That's what we do.
And so
Well spoken, Jerry.
the request that you're asking for is to close North Street between Railroad Street and Second Street. In other words, the street that runs in front of
That's
the
correct,
Legion
yeah.
Hall.
Yep.
On Saturday, December 20th, from 7:30 a.m. till 2 p.m. or
Right.
whatever you need.
Right, right.
Trustees, do I have a motion to grant that request?
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Forsythe, to grant the request of the American Legion to close North Street between Railroad Street and Second Street on Saturday, December 20th, from 7:30 a.m. till approximately 2 p.m. for the annual Needy Children's Christmas program. Clerk, please call the roll.
I just want to say, on behalf of the Legion, I want to thank everybody for the approval on it too.
We haven't voted yet.
I think we're gonna go for it.
We're gonna go for it.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries, approved.
At least I'm ahead of things this time.
You are. Good point. Thank you,
Thank you
Jim.
very much, everybody.
All right, next item on the agenda, authorization signatures for the Kearney subdivision. George, you want to go over the details of that?
John Tierney Jr. has petitioned the county for a minor subdivision plat. The subdivision splits approximately 80 acres into a parcel of approximately 49, approximately 30 acres. Parcels outside the corporate limits, but just within the 1.5 mile statutory planning area. The village has authority to enforce our subdivision design standards for developments within this planning area. However, the parcel is being subdivided for the installation of an AM broadcast tower on one of the lots, and no subdivision improvements are planned. According to developer's consultant, the village is still required to sign the Mylar for recording purposes. This plat was signed by the Planning and Zoning Commission on December 3rd, 2014. You have copies of the plats and the correspondence and the application in front of you.
Okay, and so the motion that we're asking for here is an authorization for the village officials, what do we need, to sign the Mylar approving this?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Hupkey,
Second.
seconded by trustee Wicker, to authorize village officials to sign the Mylar for this Tierney subdivision, minor plat. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe.
Okay. Motion carries, and I will move forward with that before the night is over. Next item on the agenda, deliberation, possible action on a contract with the constituent outreach consultants for the development and maintenance of a village mobile app. George?
I have researched 3 companies that provide mobile apps, Civic Plus, iCity, and Constituent Outreach Consultants. Civic Plus is very expensive and is marketed to much larger communities. I've had sporadic contact with iCity, who are for the most part unresponsive to phone calls and emails. The board has had a presentation from Constituent Outreach Consultants, COC, for development of a mobile app. The free app, free to the people who are downloading it, would provide information on village services, a business directory, which is optional, ability to send push notifications, links to other governmental agencies, and calendars integrated with other agencies. This program is reviewed by the Economic Development Advisory Committee and forwarded with a favorable recommendation. The EDAC did stress that while the app serves as a marketing tool, one attractive component is the ability to integrate calendars with other agencies for a community calendar. It would be optional for those other agencies. We're talking about possibly the library district and the school district, some of the park programs, should they wish to participate. Have it all on one calendar and have the ability for those entities individually to send push notifications about meetings, etc., should people sign up for them voluntarily. This is a 3-year contract. There's a one-time setup fee of $1,000. Business directory is $500 a year. And following that is $249 monthly maintenance fee. You have a contract in front of you. I will tell you that I think I got this Wednesday or Thursday, a day or two before we put the pack together. I did question that if it's a 3-year commitment, why does the contract only cover 1 year? And I was told we'd get a revision on that, and that the prices would be locked in for the 3 years. I don't want to go into a 3-year commitment with a 1-year contract stipulating prices for 12 months. So we would have a revised contract for that. And the date of the contract is December 1st, 2014. Well, by the time we do everything, we'll be a month into the contract, so that language is going to be changed to reflect the date of execution, so that we get a full 12 months out of the contract, should the board decide to approve the contract.
And board members, that you were all present for the presentations and had the opportunity to ask of the folks from the constituency outreach group how this works out. And I will say, having sat in on some of the EDAC meetings where this was discussed, there was great enthusiasm for this, for the reasons that George stated. So I will entertain a motion to execute Yeah, to enter into a contract with constituent outreach consultants to develop and maintain a mobile app per the costs quoted.
As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm from some people, I'm not that enthusiastic about this. And also, it's really not free because there's going to be tax dollars from the residents that are going to take to adopt this. Correct me if I'm wrong with any of these concerns or questions that I have about this mobile app. First of all, we have a webfoot, it's called a webfoot design, correct?
Mhm.
It's on a web design, it's on a Mantino.
Yes.
They were paid $1,745 this year, from what I understand, or from what I can see here. Have we looked into other web designers before we even went into this mobile app?
I don't know that Webfoot does mobile apps.
No, I
Yeah.
understand that, but I mean, was there anything else that we've looked at other than this mobile app?
Well, the Webfoot design was a semi-emergency. Our webpage was crashing due to updates that were not compatible with our existing platform. Our calendar was no longer operational, and there was a day or two when the website was down entirely. So the 1745 was basically to get a new platform up and running and get the web page back up and running. It was not, even though there was the design change, that was more of a function of what was necessary, a different basic platform the software was written in to get it back up and operating again. And pretty much the existing standards. So,
I also noticed an upgrade that we had this year, I believe it was in June, and I really didn't notice that much of an upgrade for $1,300.
that was part of that. That was a two-phase. Those two bills did the same thing. Okay, but they needed some of it up front and some of it at the end. So that's what it was.
What did it do, though? I mean, what kind of an upgrade was there for that
It was
kind
an
of money?
upgrade. Well, unfortunately, it's something that wasn't that. If you look at the web page, it's not something that was really that noticeable at the web page.
Right.
It was basically used to keep the site up and running because the architecture was old enough that as new updates were generated for that architecture, components of our web page were falling down. Like I said, the calendar stopped working. There was a day or two that the page was down entirely. So that was more of an emergency Band-Aid fix
I think,
than a redesign of the web page.
I think in terms of understanding the agreement with the folks who do the web page, we basically pay them a fee every year to host it, and as needed at a certain rate cost to make whatever changes need to be made to it.
Now, is it possible that some of these web designers also offer these sort of app services? Do we have any information on whether that's
I have-
an option?
The last I heard, Webfoot did not.
Okay.
We have not researched other web page developers because this is, talking to other villages and conferences. These are the three that generally
three
show
major
up
companies that
as
specialize.
for specializing in smartphone applications.
Okay, I'm just curious obviously if you have, it's a lot of the similar and same features between the web page and the app, so I was curious if there's anyone that offers both of them as an offer. So,
I think
okay.
part of the reason to go into the app area has to do with the fact that web pages as such is soon becoming sort of older technology because lots of folks have the handheld devices, your smartphone. This will work on a smartphone. It'll work on an iPad kind of thing. It works on the Android as well as the iPad format. It will enable us to, as a community, kind of reach people more because we can create a Q code, that little square thing that looks like a tic-tac-toe design or something like that, and put it on, businesses can put it on stuff at their businesses, schools can put it in their literature. Any of us can use it so that somebody can immediately download this. Someone who is new to Peotone, who's coming here for an activity or for something else, in order to use their smartphone, in order to find out about the community and negotiate around. And I think ultimately the thing that seems to keep coming back from the folks in the community who deal with calendars is everyone has asked us for years, could we put together some kind of community calendar so people can see where potential conflicts are? And the logistics of it have tended to be a problem simply because of the fact that it requires somebody to do this. By engaging in this contract, what we in effect do is this company sets up a program that will go into each of the calendars that the organizations put on their website, and the calendars pretty much use, and I don't know what the acronym for it is, they use a system, like you have JPEGs for photographs and you have PDFs for printed stuff. Well, they tend to use a format where this program can, if we update the village calendar, or if the park is on it, or the school district, which is very enthusiastic about this, is on it, or the library, when any of us updates our calendars, that automatically, that's the latest information people will get to coordinate. And folks will be able to choose, do I want to get stuff related to schools? Do I want to get stuff related to businesses? Do I want to get stuff related to the village? Or whatever the entities that we have to do this. And we're kind of hoping that this will be another development of more familiarity with the community and attracting more people who come from the outside to use things who are here.
So the app itself, or the company, will actively seek to update the calendars as opposed to, I don't mean each individual calendar.
Right.
But I mean, we as a village, for example, do not need to notify the company,
No.
hey, we've updated our calendar.
It's like a common Google Calendar that everybody uploads their information to.
Right. Once we update it, it automatically goes to the app. Once the park updates, it automatically goes to the app. Once the school updates, it automatically goes to the app.
And do we have is this just our standard village calendar, or will there be another one that we have to specifically update as well? In
No,
other
they-
words,
They should be able to pull it off of our website, along with the school's website, the park's website, anybody else who participates.
okay, so we won't have to do anything extra.
No,
No.
Well,
that's
And that's-
part of
that's-
the beauty.
I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, but even if we do, from the village's perspective, it's basically monthly meetings and P and Z and that kind
Right.
of thing.
That's what's so attractive about this, is we're not hiring a separate person to start a new calendar and run a website for us.
Yeah, that's right.
It's pulling the information that we already have and putting it on the app. So we're not adding anything additional to what we normally do.
And that sounds very well. I'm more concerned about the cost. With this initial setup fee of $1,000 and a monthly service fee of $249 a month, the first year with those, it's going to come out to $29.88. Plus, you've got your business directory fee of $500 a year. And with everything for the first year alone, it's going to be $4,488 for this app, if I'm correct. Also, there's certain stipulations in there. There's a setup that includes 15 hours of labor, after which they can charge $125 an hour. There's also, I saw there is a feature that's in there that's called town calls. It's pretty much like a robo type of a call. Those calls are a minimum 14 cents a call. And if you go out and do whatever registered voters, 87.2% of our residents are of age to vote. We have 2,331 registered voters, as far as I know, according to the website, which is going to cost us $375 every time if you go out there and want to do this call for whatever reasons, these town calls. That's part of this mobile app, if you choose to do that.
If we choose to do that, however.
But still in all,
Yeah.
bar that, we're still going to pay the first year close to $4,500 for a mobile app.
Then the question becomes, is it worth it?
Right.
Okay.
One of the concerns that I have is that we might be pushing, I do like the idea my concern is that we may be pushing it before more simplistic and basic things are up to date. And Mr. Mayor, you made a comment about the webpage, and I actually, now I see one thing. Things are sort of shifting away from web pages as they become more device compatible. But nonetheless, I mean, our web page in and of itself, I don't feel as though it's necessarily the most interactive and top-of-the-line website. And so my concern is that we may be putting the cart before the horse in some respects. We're a small community, and I'm afraid that maybe we should start at the ground level and build our way up, as opposed to starting at the top. But I do also understand the idea, which you noted, that with the shift away from web pages, that it kind of nullifies a bit of what I just said. But it's generally the concern that I have, is that maybe we need to address some more basic features and things that we offer first before jumping into this.
The mobile app is designed for mobile environment, you know. Their web pages still have a place. That's where businesses typically go to look for things. And it's where we can generate more information than you can on a smartphone.
Mhm.
So I don't want to give an impression that development of a smartphone application does away with the web page or does away with upgrading the web page. You know, as I mentioned, Trustee Hupke mentioned some costs we had. That was just to keep the web page up and running. I mean, it looked a little different, but that's a result of the OS, the operating system that was used.
So are you saying we're gonna keep both?
I'm simply saying, I
That
don't
was
know
the
that
intention,
it was never, I don't think it was ever put forward as having this as a replacement for the web page. It was something, if I'm out and about, what time was that, you know, was that baseball game today? What time was that program at the library? I don't remember. And those are things that would make it easy to look at on a simple calendar, and it'd make it easy for people who are planning things to look at. I'll pull up October 12th and, okay, that date's open because no one else has posted anything. But I
Or
don't mean.
at least you would know what you're going up against if you plan an activity for that day.
Yeah, but I don't want to give the impression that this is a substitution for the webpage.
No.
Do we have
Because
a-
frankly, we will probably be looking at updating the webpage, because I agree, this was a Band-Aid. You know, what we have now is a Band-Aid.
Do we have a mobile, I mean, I don't really know the right terminology, but the mobile devices utilize a different web page format when you access them through a smartphone or a tablet as opposed to your home computer. Do we have anything like that now, and/or does the app allow us to access the web page through the app?
The
Yes.
app will allow you to access the webpage to answer one question, okay? Because we'll embed a link in the app, okay? And it was same to be true of any other agencies that participate. You'll have a link to the library district or the school district or the park district. Yes, most internet web pages are designed, not all, are designed to have both a mobile and a full version. Summerfield's Peotone Weather, okay, is exactly what I'm talking about. They have a mobile version that I look at on my phone, and they have a full version that's on the web page. And at least in their particular instance, if you use a tablet like an iPad or a Galaxy tablet or something, most of the time it'll pull up the full web page. It's a function of screen size, I think, and some programming that I don't understand.
Okay.
Okay.
And what wasn't part of the update that we did to our website to enable it to have a modified version that will work on a smaller screen, on a mobile device?
Yeah, it is not as far as you can go with it.
No.
But if I pulled up the old web page on my phone, I would see portions of it. Okay, it has now been modified to where you actually see the full screen, and you can blow it up and expand it and do things like that with it. It's probably not as far as you can go with it. Frankly, that was something we were hoping to do, but that was one of the unexpected side benefits of just keeping the thing up and running. with the new upgrades.
Do we have a long-term commitment with our current web designer? And then part two to that question is, do any of the companies in your write-up offer web design?
I believe iCity does, but they're expensive.
Okay.
Frankly, they're geared for 50,000 people and higher.
Okay.
And to add to the aspect of this, the Village of Beecher last summer went to the same group that we're looking to attach to, constituency outreach consultants. And it was from the point of view of, to a large extent, of the cost factor relative to the other offering that service. So, it's in your hands, trustees. I will entertain a motion if you so desire.
Motion.
Okay, and the motion is?
To accept the contract for the constituent outreach consultants to develop and maintain a mobile app per the cost quoted.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by trustee Forsythe, seconded by trustee Wicker, to enter into a contract with constituency outreach consultants to develop and maintain a mobile app per the cost quoted. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Forsythe?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
No.
Mr. Hack?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries, and we will move forward with that. Next item on the agenda, ordinance enacting and adopting the supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Peotone. Let me get through all my paperwork here. Trustees, periodically, we make changes to ordinances, and we have to get them codified and placed in the actual village ordinances themselves. And we do that via supplements. This would be supplement 2014 S-31, adopting recent changes, which you have in your packet, that we have made to ordinances and putting them into the village code of ordinances officially. So, I need a motion to adopt the ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances. This would be specifically supplement 2014 S-31. Is there a motion to that effect?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Forsythe, seconded by trustee Wicker, to approve ordinance 14-18, enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the Village of Peotone. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Forsythe?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Hack?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes. Okay, motion carries, and ordinance 14-18 is officially adopted. The next item is another ordinance transferring appropriated money in the water department from legal fees to meters and utility system maintenance. George, you want to go over that?
This ordinance reduces the appropriation in the water department line item entitled legal fees and transfers $9,000 to the line item meters and $3,000 to the utility system maintenance line. The full amount appropriated for legal fees will not be needed. Some of the money usually appropriated for meters was placed in legal fees this year. Transfer restores meters, the line item meters, to a normal annual level. The balance of $3,000 is being transferred to utility system maintenance to increase the reserve for unexpected repairs. Passage of this ordinance requires a 2/3 vote of the corporate authorities.
Okay, this would be ordinance 14-19, an ordinance transferring appropriated money as specified. Is there a motion to that effect?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Forsythe, to adopt ordinance 14-19, transferring appropriated money in the water department from legal fees to meters and the utility system maintenance. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Hack?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries, and ordinance 14-19 is officially adopted. Next item, another ordinance to declare squad cars surplus property.
The trustees, when you came into your seats this evening, found a revised ordinance. Please use that. That ordinance reflects a couple of comments from legal staff. It accomplishes the same thing, but it's a little more specific about the transfer. I'll start and the chief can follow up. The police department has 5 squad cars that should be removed from service. This includes the existing code car. The chief wishes to trade these squad cars in for 2 used low-mileage squad cars from Terry's Ford. In order to conduct the trade, the squad cars in question must be formally declared surplus property. The attached ordinance will formalize that declaration.
Okay. This is a two-parter.
What-
You have to do this in order to do the second part. Chief, you want to explain or answer questions? Go ahead. Chris,
Okay.
did you have a question?
Historically, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What year are the 2 cars that we're looking at?
They're 2008s.
2008.
Historically, what have we done with these cars? The surplus?
Historically, they can, once they're declared surplus, we put them out to, last time, it's been a couple of years ago, we put them out for a sealed bid auction. And with trade-in values and that, we're probably seeing a similarity of what we got for them. You know, and we have, we've identified 5 vehicles that need to go to vehicle heaven. Understanding our squad cars not only have the miles, but they also have the engine time. And, you know, and last year, I mean, I probably am a year behind because we had a couple that we need to get rid of, but with the protocol we have, I mean, we have to declare them surplus, then we did the sealed bids, had to post them, and now there's a new method, but you gotta get them transported over the Bolingbrook. There's a procedure that they'll take them to auction and we can share, but getting them hauled over to Bolingbrook is your responsibility. So ironically, the local Ford dealer contacted me because they took in 2 2008 vehicles as trade-in. And I happen to know the department that got them, and I called the chief of police, said, what, are they lemons or are they good? And he assured me that he was going to get rid of them. They were mostly support vehicles for his agency, and so I was just getting rid of the Crown Vics because I took all and traded them all in and got me a truck from Ford for a police vehicle. So with that, they've been there. The unfortunate thing for a local Ford dealer, they're all marked up and have red lights, and the common person can't buy them. So they've been they contacted me, and with this, I was proposing, seeing what the Ford dealer, we were playing some backyard bartering, and then we started talking about, well, if we're gonna barter, let's eliminate some of our, the vehicles that need to go to vehicle heaven. So this is where we came up with this plan. In my budget, it supports this purchase. Next year, I mean, we've always allocated for this last several years $40,000 in budget for next year that you would be talking about after the first year with me again. This would eliminate that. And I'm not, you know, we've had great success with solid used cars. And I believe I can get some years out of these. They're very well maintained, and like I said, Ford's been talking to me. They thought every police agency would run to them, so I did some background work and called the agency that owned them, and there was nothing that alerted me they were problem cars.
Other than the code enforcer's car, are the other 4 vehicles in use, or are they simply sitting and waiting?
They were in the process of coming to you to get resolved and get taken care of.
So does going from 5 to 2 create a shortage of cars for us, or no?
No, we'll get by. You know, I told the George and the mayor this week, I said, you know, if I was gonna budget next year, I would, instead of 40,000, I would ask for 10, and then I'd keep my eyes open for another used car. Because they come in, and we bought, a few years ago, we bought another used 2007 that was in good shape. And like I said, these cars, you know, vehicles are expensive involvement for the police force, and and our cars have been maintained, but like my squad, they all have unique functions that they're slowly gonna die. And it's, when I hit a bump at Peotone, there are a few, I lose my running lights, inside the car, so I'm like,
That's not important.
when did you only have around 52? You know what that's like. I don't have a lot of lights that run on it.
You don't have to go that far, Chief. Blue Devil Drive.
Blue Devil Drive, okay. So,
Public safety.
I think it's an opportunity to get a couple of solid cars that would, even though we're getting rid of 4 vehicles, and I'm trading one of my better shaped cars to convert to code enforcement, so they have a car that can get around. It would alleviate some of the cars that were gonna come to you anyway to be disposed of.
Now, I'm sorry, this is
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
Go ahead.
Is the $20,000 price for the vehicles, is that contingent upon trading in, or is that, are we getting that?
No,
No, it's actually the trade-in
But I
cost.
mean, we don't have to trade the vehicles to get,
Oh,
Oh, we could buy them for the 20,000.
We could.
Yes, but
okay.
I've asked him for trade-in consideration.
I feel like we're giving these cars away.
That's all right. Have we ever considered, I talked to George a little bit about it, I contacted Chief Barica in Frankfurt to see what they're doing with theirs, and he said they're sending them down to, and they're all about the same age and the same mileage when they're done. They're sending them down to Clinton Auto Auction. That company, they said, comes up, picks them up, takes them down there, cleans them up, auctions them based on what they're getting for them. He said, which is usually about $4,000 per car. That's after they strip the lights and everything. The company's taking 5%, which is $200, and they're only, I mean, I'm just looking at it kind of like Trustee Callahan. It feels like we're giving them away.
Well, if the board, I mean, if you want us to look at avenues to dispose of them, we can always do that. I mean, that's really not a problem.
And my only other concern was the age of these vehicles already. I mean, technically, they're already 7 years old, and to buy a new Ford, what did we pay for the last one, like $23,000 on
It was 23,000, but then we spend at least 7,000 to outfit it.
the radios.
The radios,
The lights.
the prisoner
Consoles, the lights.
consoles, none of this retrofits anymore because all the cars are made different.
And
The
these-
Crown, so that stuff doesn't go from one car to another like it used to. The Crown Vics used to go from one to the other.
And these cars are equipped, the ones that were.
Yes, they're actually, whatever equipment I have that
Fits.
comes off of mine can fit onto these, the exterior lights. So they have the consoles, they have the cages already installed in them.
But
They have
they
the
give us
lights.
any kind of warranty on them?
Well, they do have the, 36,000 mile warranty included in their package. And like I said, how we dispose of them, I mean, last year, we did, a few years ago, we could pull the numbers. Some of the cars, we got about 1,500, I don't know how many we got rid of.
That's
on the
pretty high at
auction
$4
roll.
grand. I really question it in an auction, Kev.
Well, that's what it's telling me they're averaging.
I'm saying,
Some of them are higher.
that's pretty tough to sell a squad car.
They're gonna
I mean-
cut of that too.
It's, we work at the pleasure of the board. I mean, getting rid of the surplus, as I call it, the vehicles that need to go to car heaven, we can utilize that. And Mr. Gray had, the auction house in Will County, that there's a program to take them up there. We just, it's what the board feels be. If we think we're getting undercut by the Ford dealer, and then we can look at other options.
I'm all for it this time. I think in the future, though, I think we should at least send one car out just to see, just experiment.
I can do it now too. I mean, it's not the cars are here till we get rid of them, or if this company down there wants to come up and haul them away. The problem is if you get into hauling them there, because then I've got to pay my time or people time or tow time to haul these things on a car hauler and haul them over to Bolingbrook.
Can we look at doing the 2007 through the company that Trustee Hack is talking about? Most likely we'll get the more money for that at an auction anyways. It's a safer bet.
I don't see how we can lose money on these cars, no matter what we do, based on what we're being offered. I would be inclined to authorize purchase of the 2 vehicles and then come up with an alternative, give it a try.
Well, I think the important factor is if you declare them surplus, then we can.
That's the first step.
That's the critical step.
That's a critical step.
How we dispose of them can be decided later.
Because
based on the
Ford, I mean, it's not
discussion that we had
contingent
here.
on the deal. I mean, Ford was just doing it as an offer to, so we could dispose of them. And that if we wanna, I mean, I'd be more than happy if whatever we get out of them, goes back and can beat their deal, that's fine. I'd be more than willing to take all the cars and send them to car heaven in one place and do that, once they're declared surplus. Just a few phone calls and a couple connections, and we can do it that avenue.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, we
but-
can't say we didn't try.
But $1,000 for 2 cars with 136, 155, I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't think we can lose if we try the avenues. We may still
I
come out
wouldn't,
the same.
if you, just don't bet on my car. If they take her for a ride, they could be shocked, but no, and we could be proven wrong. Maybe our trade-in value's a lot higher from a third party.
Well, I'll propose a motion to deem these vehicles as surplus.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry.
we
Sorry.
have a technical issue we need to address. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so the changes that we had made to the ordinance really reflect the fact that we were declaring these surplus and then trading them in. With the understanding of what the board is looking to do now, we would, your motion would be to approve an ordinance declaring these surplus property, and with the understanding that we're gonna make changes to the ordinance to strip out the stuff about trading them in, so that it's just a general, we're declaring them surplus property.
Correct. And then
We can just say method to be determined by the village administrator.
that sounds good. Okay. So, you got that for a motion?
Second. I missed the second. Oh, the second. You didn't have a second.
Oh.
We got hung up on the wording.
Okay. I got it. Got it.
Okay. Per the wording of the attorney, we're revising it, but the key thing is we're declaring them surplus. Motion by Forsythe, seconded by Hupkey. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Forsythe?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Hack?
Yes.
And Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Now, should we,
I think we could do a motion on purchasing the replacement squad cars, right?
right, for the price indicated, for the, what is it?
12,000.
No, that's,
No,
no,
it's
it's 12,000 as a
20,000
trade-in.
Yeah,
apiece.
yeah.
Chief, do you have 20,000 in your budget for squads?
We have to have a bake sale come March. The one question comes up is, we'll have to have a check reissued. Because it was later determined that 12,250 was already on, the 10,250 was on that.
Okay.
So we would have to reissue a check in the 20,000 minus 250 because they were trying, the Ford dealer lowered the price by $250, so it's $19,750.
Okay. And relative to what we pulled when we approved the bills, go ahead.
I'll make the motion we trade them all in this time and purchase the 2 squad cars, but I really would like to see it in the future that we do something different.
Did we have a vote on the other one?
We did
Yes,
have a
we did.
vote.
Okay.
We've officially declared them surplus with the authorization to do with them what we will. Having said that, and having all the discussion, motion by trustee Hack to move forward and to do the trade of the 5 for the 12,250 is on the table.
Can I
second?
Can I ask a question quickly? Was that a no? You don't have it in your budget?
I had the 12,500, I had the 12,000 that Marcy, the
Squeeze
treasurer,
out.
did not roll over and throw things at me. But I know it was gonna be a little leaner because it wasn't expected. But you know, the extra $7,500 could be a little tighter for me. So when things would go in the red on some of my column amounts, but you know, we're in the last quarter of our budget really coming up, so I mean, we can do it to what the board's pleasure is what the discussion is. And whatever the board wants done, it's not like we can't.
One thing you gotta remember about an auction, all right? Because there's no reserve on this equipment. That car could go for $300, and don't tell me it don't, it goes every day that way. And
I
you
know.
pay for everything else in that auction.
If I could, I would buy those cars for cash tomorrow for 10 grand, all 5 of them. I can't, but they're worth more than what we're getting. Absolutely. Now, I don't know if we can sell them on an open market. I don't know the limitations, police packages and things like that. My concern is that a week ago, we got numbers on a police pension fund that is worse than it was last year. As we lose ground and try to catch up, we're now about to give away police property. My vote will be no on Kevin's motion. I can say that.
Well, what I would just say to the board is this: we can do what the board's pleasure is. We can work the deal. The only thing it requires Marcy to reissue the check for that, and we could go through the process of you know, now they've declared surplus and see how the road runs. It's not, you know, this isn't anything that's threatening or support. I've got a fleet of cars that are running, so I'm not contingent on this, and if it's delayed, I mean, the only problem is Marcy getting the check recreated and getting the mayor's scribble on it.
That's not a problem for the mayor.
So that's, I mean, I understand the board's viewpoint. If you're thinking we're giving them away, I guess we'll wait and see, and we can take that avenue to dispose of them this way.
And in effect, what you are saying is, we'll find the 19,750. We knew we found the 12,250. We'll see if we can.
You know, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, we have some contingencies, and I haven't, you know, but we'll make it do, and I think it's an opportunity, and, you know, and the Ford dealers, they didn't do this price because of the trade-in. The dollar amounts of 10,000 was what we had already whittled down, and then they actually sent me an email the day before the end of the month of November saying, hey, the GM says they'll take 500 off if you can get them by December 1. I said, well, I can't write a check on Thanksgiving, you know, it doesn't work that way. So we were jokingly about that, but they're very flexible. It's not anything code red. So if that's a discretion of the board, you feel better about it, gentlemen, we can send them off to a third party to auction them off, or how you want to do it.
We got a motion on the table already.
We have a motion, Kevin's motion, to trade the items and get the 12,250 price. And it was seconded by Hupkey, all right? Now, we have two choices here. We can vote on the motion, or you can withdraw the motion.
Let's go with it.
What?
He said vote on it.
Vote on it. Okay.
Ready?
Clerk, go ahead and vote on it.
Mr. Hack?
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
No.
Mr. Forsyth?
Yes.
Okay, so motion carries, and the cars will be traded for the $12,250 price. Correct? We're all understanding that? All right, thank you. I want everybody to walk away knowing what we just accomplished. All right. And so, in effect, the check that we were discussing earlier doesn't have to be rewritten.
Well, just also to remind the board on the non-car issue, okay? And we can, in the future, as we dispose of property, we can look at avenues, and we won't let some of them pile up. Saturday from 8 till 12 at Burcott's, we're going to be collecting food and cash for the American Legion program.
the fire and police have done it for the last few years. We hear a fat guy with a beard, now, not referring, I don't have any facial hair, so I'm not, shall be present, so he'll be putting a lien on everybody, so if you get your wallet picked by
He won't be
a
carrying
fat
it.
guy in a red suit and a beard, don't call the police. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so G and H are taken care of now. G and H. F and G, okay. Oh, thank you. H. Contract for Phase 2 engineering services for the Rastree Road contract. Thank you for calling that to my attention.
The Rastree Road reconstruction project's full scope of work is from Wilmington Road to Joliet Road. When the village undertook the Rastree Road reconstruction from Wilmington Road to Corning Avenue, we completed Phase 1 engineering for the full scope. In other words, Phase 1 went from Wilmington Road to Joliet Road. The village has received Surface Transportation Plan funding, STP funding, to complete the balance of the project. IDOT regulations require that we advertise for requests for qualifications for engineering firms to complete Phase 2 engineering, scope of services attached. The village advertised for RFQs and received one RFQ from Robinson Engineering. Robinson Engineering has completed all engineering work to date on the Rastree Road project and is very familiar with the project. Should the board select Robinson Engineering village officials to sign the contracts. The contracts are then submitted to IDOT for review and approval, and the fee structure in the contracts conforms to standard IDOT fee guidelines.
Okay, so we're asking for the authorization to execute and submit a contract with Robinson Engineering for engineering services for Phase 2 of the Rastree Road reconstruction. Do I have a motion to that effect?
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Hack, to authorize execution and submittal of a contract to Robinson Engineering for engineering services for Phase 2 of the Rastree Road reconstruction project. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries, and Robinson Engineering you'll introduce to take home.
I have a question, Troy. Sure. Do you have any type of an estimate, a start date to finish, or start to finish, how long it's going to take?
For construction, we are looking at 2017, due to the right-of-way acquisition near the.
That's the start date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the letting might be the very end of 2016, so we can start it soon in 2017 once it warms up. That's the plan right now.
Any estimate on finish, how long it might take normal? with
Assuming
applications?
Usually that size project would take a couple months.
Okay.
I mean, it should get done within the summer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
And this one is not going to,
Halloween, maybe.
this one is not going to impact the number of homeowners that the
Well, the
original.
big
part-
problem they had there when they opened it up was filling it
All
with
the-
rock. It was all undermined.
Yeah.
That was a big tragedy when we opened
They had
it.
soil and the utilities were not where they were supposed to be.
And just for educational purposes, can you explain the legality of the, why we had to put the engineering out for bid when we have our own?
It is a function of federal law, federal
Because
highway
we're getting
transportation
federal
standards.
money.
And because of the amount of the contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a requirement.
And look at this as we're getting an awful lot of money from other sources to help the people in this town handle two things, the improvement of that road and the water issues that we've got on Oak Street and some of the other places. This should help us quite a bit with that.
If there was another low bidder who was selected by chance, would our your firm would work with whatever firm that is? Is that how that works? As far
No.
as coordinating or no?
I mean, if the village selected a different firm, they would use our Phase 1 study that we previously completed.
Okay. But would you, as our village engineer, essentially be our liaison to discuss things with the new firm as to whether or not that's appropriate, or would you guys just be out of the picture?
I could probably discuss, municipal aspects of it, but
Right.
not project specific, design.
Okay.
And that might also encounter some additional fees.
Right.
So double fees for some of the things.
Which is why it didn't make any sense to me, because we have him here reporting to us, and then we have another firm coming in once a month or every other month. It just seemed...
And it wasn't, this was under, yeah.
Okay. Other questions? Good, thank you. We'll move on to the review and final payout for the sewer rehabilitation project to National Power Rotting. George?
National Power Riding was awarded the contract for the 2013 sewer rehabilitation along Route 50. Due to weather conditions last fall, NPR was forced to complete the work this year. NPR is...
I have to stop you. We discussed it, we took the motion, correct?
I've got no first motion or second.
All right.
We have no motion.
I thought we had a motion.
No.
Trustee Huckabee motioned it.
I motioned.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I missed it.
Yeah.
No, not what we were talking about, the previous one.
The previous, yeah. The authorizing.
I thought you took roll on, because
Yeah,
I asked
think
my
she took
question.
roll too.
Yeah, I asked my question after the roll call was made.
No, that was,
For item H.
You combine...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I go up in your notes, I just saw it
Sorry.
too. Okay, we're all set.
We're set.
We all have those moments.
Yes, we do.
It's nice to know somebody else besides me has them. All right. Continue, George.
Due to weather conditions last fall, Power Riding was forced to complete the work this year. National Power Riding has submitted a request to release retainage for the contract. That would make this a final payout. The village holds $1,712.60 in retainage. The work has been completed and is satisfactory. This invoice constitutes a final payout.
And you can see, trustees, you can see in your packet the authorization from Robinson Troy in particular that says basically they've met all the things, all the circumstances, so we could return it. So,
I make a motion, we fail.
second. Motion by trustee Wicker, seconded by trustee Hupkey to approve the release of the National Power Rotting 2013 sewer rehabilitation project retainage in the amount of $1,712.60. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Hupkey.
Yes.
Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Mr. Callahan.
Yes.
And Mr. Forsythe.
Yes.
Motion carries, and that check is now approved for National Power Rotting. We come to the end of the agenda. Any correspondence, communication, petitions, anything due or?
No, water bills will be mailed the end of December. Merry Christmas.
And trustees, I remind you that at the previous meeting, we had decided to forego the second meeting in December with the idea of all the bills being paid, all the usual bills being paid, with ratification coming at our first meeting in January, which is January what? Normally I write it down, but I didn't.
It's the second Monday.
It's the second Monday.
I know. Somebody has to look at the month of January. Everybody's hauling out their mobile devices.
It's the 12th.
The 12th. So we meet January 12th of 2015.
Before we adjourn, can I ask trustee Hack to give us more information on the auction company that you were looking into? So we can get some information out there to look at future possibilities.
Okay.
So, we're not caught off guard, we can...
Have the boys come down, because we got an auction here in Cook County, one on 30, Bolingbrook. I'll have somebody check in out too.
And there's also an auction facility through the Little Tiny Government League here in...
Well, that's the one in
Little
Bolingbrook.
Is it?
That's the one in Bolingbrook, yeah.
Larry, before I also want to comment on the fantastic job that the library district did with the tree lighting on Thursday.
Very nice.
I know trustee Forsythe and myself are there because we have third graders that were singing. And they made a comment at the beginning that they were expecting 40 people to show up, and there was well over 200, so
Wow.
it was
That's
awesome.
terrific.
Our parking lot was full.
It was.
The new parking lot was full. So everybody gets a chance to see the new parking lot. Good. All right, kudos to you, Noreen, for that. All right, anybody else? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the December 8th, 2014 Village of Peotone.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hupkey, seconded by trustee Forsythe to adjourn the December 8th, 2014
Merry
Village of
Christmas,
Peotone.
everybody.
Ho, ho, ho. We're adjourned.
Yes.